only on DAZN, July 12th. Ring 3, Berlanga versus Shirez and Stevenson versus Cepeda. They're in their prime, they're hungry, and they're done being called the future. Berlanga versus Shirez, Stevenson versus Cepeda. Ring 3, live, only on DAZN. Buy now at DAZN.com/boxing.
This is Charlie Parsons for the Stomping Ground and Matchroom Boxing Small Talk team, which is developing by the second.
Yes.
Here with Eduardinho Hearn in London, ahead of what is, I mean, I still am yet to see the rebrand myself, so I feel a bit anticlimactic discussing it with you here.
To be honest with you, I'm probably a little bit old school when it comes to rebrands and messaging and diversification and growth and evolving. Yeah, but you know what I mean? But I've been unbelievably impressed by what the team have done here. Ross Garrity, Frank, Hainsey, Adam Insau, and there's so many to mention. Because I feel like we are always the front runner. We are always the market leader, not just in fights. And sometimes, you know, your schedule goes like that. But in terms of the way that we do things, we've always been the front runner. What happens is a lot of people follow suit. So when you create a new press conference format, or when you create a new logo, or when the ring mat looks a little bit different, or the walk-ons look a little bit different, everyone copies, right? And that's not a pot shot at people, but that's, if you look historically, we've always been first. And we just felt that now it was time to make an investment, and by the way, a significant investment this time. Like, this wasn't just a couple of geezers in the office going, oh, what about this logo? What about, this is a full project with 2 circles that has cost us a huge amount of money to create something different moving forward, and a real, you know, intention of our push globally, and a rebrand. And the first time really, you know, when you're creating a new logo, and a lot of people just say, oh, it's a new logo. It's bigger than that, but yes, it is a new logo. We've always kind of struggled for the look of that new logo, how that should look. And I think our logo historically for boxing has always been poor. And 99 times out of 100, people have tried to redevelop the logo, and every time I've looked at it, I've gone, that is shit. And now it's come back, and as soon as I saw it, and as soon as I saw it evolve, I said, I love it, I absolutely love it. You'll see it later, and I think you'll really like it too. And yeah, I think it's, you know, I think to the naked eye, a lot of, you know, you're going to get people online going, oh, what was it, just a new logo? Yeah, like, wait till you see, and you know the talks behind the press conference this week and stuff like that. Everything's going to look a little bit different now. And we're just going to try and sexy it up a little bit. And I guess I'm the king of sexying it up, baby.
I was just about to say, picking that up. I won't be going along and agreeing with that one. Is that kind of like, okay, it stems from a logo, but it's a business ethos as to trying to do more, trying to be better, trying to be stronger
all of that.
With the product?
Like, you know, you get the brand guidelines, Parsons, that comes from Ross and Tusa, and you read it, and it's like 90% of it's waffle. It makes sense, but there is, of course, the element of you have to keep evolving. You have to appeal to a younger audience. We have tomorrow dropping a campaign globally for our fighters based around it's 16 different cities around the world, including Sydney, Times Square, Kazakhstan, London, Manchester, of all our different fighters, based around our new strap, which is ordinary people with extraordinary talent. And it's a campaign for our fighters that they will be on billboards all around the world. So it's a major investment from us. And this is just a kind of flag in the sand moment for us to say, in a very busy market, in a very aggressive market, in a very competitive market, we're doubling down. And that must come across the product, that must come across the fan experience, that must come across the look and the feel of everything that we do. And you'll see that. And that's why I said in my interview with Coogan the other day, just have a look at the presser on Thursday, see what you think, because I think, you know, people want to see change. People don't really want to see the same backdrop, 12 people sitting up there, you know, oh, and 8 rounds for you on Saturday, must be excited. Yeah, I've got a good camp, can't wait to go. All right, and looking for a big 2024. Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Go and sit on your phone for 20 minutes while we finish this thing, you know what I mean? And you're not getting enough out of what you're doing. So, yeah, for us, I mean, this is, people can't see, but you're here. It's quite a major facility. It'll be really cool in there later when we play everything. and AJ's come in. A lot of our fighters are coming tonight, and I guess it's a proud moment. You know, it's our baby, and whenever there's a new logo, a new moment, I think the best thing to come out of this, like the reason that I know this is going to work and the reason I know this is perfect, because I said to my old man, what do you think of the logo? And he went, I don't really like it. And I went, perfect, thank you very much.
Because it's not for that age.
Exactly.
Yeah. Eubank Catrol this week.
Yes.
How excited are you?
Big fight. I mean, you know, I think when you talk about domestic fights happening in the UK right now, Catrol Eubank's right up there. Fascinating fight, real sort of crossroads for the two guys. Obviously, you've got Jack coming off the defeat to Barboza, been at world level forever, should have been undisputed champion, blah, blah. And Eubank's coming with, you know, big audiences on Channel 5, obviously the momentum of the name, but also some good performances as well. And it's must win for Jack Catrol. Must win. I think all the pressure's on Jack. But it's a really good fight. Joe Caldina back, can't wait to see that. Aqib Fiaz is in a brilliant fight. Leo Atang, our heavyweight. I'll say it now because obviously this won't go out till later, but tonight, there's really 3 layers of our heavyweight journey, and that's what it's been for Matchroom, a heavyweight journey. So tonight you will have Frank Bruno, who was really the originator of Matchroom boxing. My dad's first ever show was Frank Bruno against Joe Bugner at White Hart Lane. Mental. Anthony Joshua and Leo Atang. And they'll all be here tonight. He makes his professional debut on Saturday. I'm so nervous for the young man. He's sold like 600 tickets himself. He's going to be a massive star. Pat Brown in a good step up as well. William Croller, Sky Nicholson. It's a really good card, and you know, it's a big night for Jack Catrol on Saturday. Must win, and hoping the Rastafari will be there to lick 'em up.
Lick 'em up. Hopefully not lick up your fighter though.
Maybe. Listen, as you know, people don't really talk about when our fighters have a big win. I mean, Sugar Nunes went to Japan the other week and won the world title. No one even mentioned that. But someone gets beat, Galao, and it's like, whoa, oh my God. Matchroom have lost. Yes, when you're in tough fights, you can lose. And Jack Catrol might lose on Saturday. I don't believe he will, but it's a big moment for his career.
Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr.
Yes.
has been announced. I remember speaking to you and going, oh, Napa says there's a few hurdles to overcome, and you were like, hold up, wait, no, there's not. There's a rematch clause that signs for the contract. Off the back of it, the reaction's been great so far. We've only seen a poster from Conor, Chris in collaboration with Matchroom and the Ring magazine. Do we know anything about broadcasters, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll leave that. Look, His Excellency likes to spring the surprise on you of an announcement, generally without you even knowing.
Was that the case here?
I mean, look, we've been talking about the date for 3 weeks, 4 weeks. Me, Frank Smith, Boxer. We've got, you know, a group chat where we've been going backwards and forwards on dates. September 20th was, you know, a date that was confirmed by both sides. Well, we were told 20th or the 27th would be okay. And now we move forward. There's been meetings going on today regarding the venue, and all those announcements will come from His Excellency. So looking forward to another massive fight.
With regards to the contract, I believe it was signed the same way. So does that mean it will be at £160?
I don't know how the contract was signed.
Clause?
I know how our contract was signed.
But
that is 2 fights, same terms. So that's what we're expecting.
But my point being is, if you were to sign that, Conor would want to know the stipulations for Chris Eubank Jr. Right? So the 160 with the £10.
It doesn't matter. What we sign, we expect to be adhered to, and that is the same terms as the first fight. So.
What did you make of the statement that Boxer put up off the back of your?
Yeah, it was messy. I mean, Ben Shalom called me last night and said, you know, he's such a strange fella. He's like, you know, you're a dickhead, you are. I said, you're fucking useless. I'm just being honest. What I said, and I get on. It wasn't like when this announcement came, there's no communication at all. I get a message from Chris Eubank's management team. It was a message that was also sent to Turkey and Dr. Rakan, saying we have no Boxer promotional agreement with Boxer. They have no right to make any decision on our behalf or to speak on our behalf. That was it. So when I did my interview with Coogan, I said, I don't know what the situation is. They talk about this partnership, but Eubank's team wrote to me and said, we do not have a Boxer promotional agreement with them. We will make all the decisions moving forward. I'm sure they've got a partnership moving forward, whatever the fuck that is. But I said to Shalom last night, I said, you're just slow out the gate, mate. So you need to get going. I think he's had a holiday or a couple of months off. I said, you can't do that in this game. You can't go on holiday and have a month off or whatever. Because when you wake up, every fucker's gone past you. And you know, the team seems very fragmented there. So we know because his team have been having conversations with us, meetings with us, and Turki Al-Sheikh said in the ring after the fight, the date will be the 27th. We know that the football fixtures didn't suit. He's been having conversations with the broadcasters, and 20th is the date that Turki Al-Sheikh wants.
So this partnership as such doesn't necessarily mean a promotional agreement?
Team Eubank confirmed to me they have no Boxer promotional agreement with Boxer. But Boxer said they have a partnership.
Did you ask Ben yesterday?
No, I said. He said, no, we've got a deal. He said, we've got a deal. I said, well, why is Eubank telling me you haven't? You're not his promoter. Oh, we're partners. I said, what do you mean you're fucking partners? I said, well, I don't understand.
How long did this conversation go on?
Oh, it was hilarious. About 15 minutes. It wasn't. Listen, it's the first time I've spoken to Ben for 3 or 4 months. And I just said to him, what are you doing? Because I will say that, you know, His Excellency does have a we didn't know that announcement was coming.
Okay.
We don't care. We'll fight next Saturday. Conor will fight him next Saturday. So we're in. We ain't no problems. But I think it did catch a lot of people by surprise. But that's what His Excellency does. And His Excellency will say, excuse me, I'm paying the bill. And by the way, it's double caviar. So make sure you go on the date that suits us, get the biggest stadium, generate the most revenue, the perfect Saturday for pay-per-view, for the football schedule as well. And that is September 20th. It's 12 weeks away. How long do you need?
Jake Paul with a victory over a fairly flat and fairly disappointing Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. He is now ranked at top 15 with the WBA. Your thoughts?
I said, you know, in an interview yesterday, I think you've got to start, you know, it's hard to say, just giving Jake a little bit of credit. You know, he's done 10 rounds. And look, Chavez is... I don't want to be critical of Chavez because I like him. I think he's actually he's a troubled soul, but he's a real good character. But he was finished 10 years ago, and he's had massive problems in his life. But he was once a decent fighter, and he did have a proper training camp, and he did come into that fully prepared. But I think Jake's boxing IQ has improved considerably. I think he can whack. I think he's got a decent chin, and he's putting the work in. So should he be top 15 in the world? Don't be ridiculous, but has he improved? Absolutely. And is he, you know, I said in the interview, I would say that Jake Paul is top 100 in the cruiserweight division. And by the way, that is not a bad achievement at all, particularly for someone who has come without any boxing pedigree and background. I think he's doing really well, and he's putting on big events. So I don't, you know, there's a lot of haters out there that just don't like what he's doing. I don't mind what he's doing now because I think he's now in a position, like, what do you do from here? You know, you fight, he ain't going to fight Zurdo Ramirez because the money's just... He wouldn't beat Zurdo Ramirez in 1,000... He could have 1,000 goes at Zurdo Ramirez, wouldn't beat him once. They're not idiots. Jake and Nikisa pick their opponents very wisely. So they'll take a fight that's very dangerous if they're getting...
silly dough.
Mad money. I believe... they would fight Anthony Joshua.
So that's what I wanted to ask you. He said that they text.
That's it. I spoke to Nikisa. Look, we're out there next week. They want to have some conversations. Who knows if it's a little bit of hype or whatever it is. But I think Jake is mad enough to fight AJ because he will make the biggest payday he could ever make. And
would AJ take it?
Probably,
it sounds like
probably.
He probably would. But you're kind of at the part of the career where you think, yeah, go on then.
Yeah, but also, like, you're gonna get unbelievable money for an easy night's work.
And I think making a lot of boxing fans probably quite happy in the process.
Also, Jake Paul is calling out Gervonta Davis, who's 135, and Anthony Joshua. I mean, like, you know, if I really want to roll the dice, I might fight Badu Jack.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think Badu Jack beats Jake Paul, but Badu Jack didn't look great last time out. He's in his 40s, but he's a world-class seasoned fighter, and I don't think Jake Paul beats him. But that, you know, you imagine that they just announced Jake Paul for the world cruiserweight title. I mean, the internet would just, you know, and that's what he wants to do. He wants to disrupt, and he's very good at that.
Froch said that you guys aren't all family.
Yeah,
I was interested.
It's very sad.
Yeah. But it's just Froch a bit. Like, I was watching an interview, Oscar done an interview with Adam Smith, and Adam was talking about when Golovkin beat Kell Brook. and Froch had just had his nose done, like goading Golovkin in the ring, and Adam was almost like, "What are you doing?" Like, this is half nothing new.
I think Carl kind of wants everybody's career to end. Do you know what I mean? So no one can like do better than him, or I don't know. Like I don't really understand it, and you know, because he's talking about fighting again, isn't he?
Yeah, but
I mean, he's saying about AJ needs to retire. Carl's talking about coming back. He's coming up to, don't want to get it wrong, 50, 40. He's about my 48, 49.
Yeah.
You know, it's all right for him, but AJ's got to pack up ASAP. Do you know what I mean? I don't get it.
Have you reached out since? Had a
to
little
Froch?
phone
No,
conversation?
he said he was coming to Birmingham. But, you know, he got the call for the Canelo presser and had to drop everything immediately and get on the plane and go like a lapdog out to because he would never do that, Froch. All these people just drop their bags at, you know, like that to go out to Saudi Arabia. Froch would never do that, only now every time he gets invited.
Deontay Wilder's ring return, can't take too much of it.
Not really. I watched a bit of it. It was very dark. I don't know, it was like the lights weren't working properly. I don't know where it was, but like, good for him. Good for him. And again, Froch says Deontay he needs to retire now. Shut up. Let him, like, you know, I mean, it's his life, it's his career. Let him make the decisions.
I feel like it's probably more of a case for Wilder retiring.
Yeah, I agree.
Than
I agree, especially off those defeats, especially off the Zhang defeats. Anytime you take back-to-back defeats, that is time you have to really consider. Apart from when you're fighting at a specific, you know, like Fury gets beat twice by Usyk, AJ gets beat twice by Usyk. You've lost to the pound-for-pound number one on points in a competitive fight. It's not the saddest story in the world. So yeah. Anything
more in this whole Dave Allen, Joseph Parker situation?
No, I spoke to Dave about half an hour ago. Dave's the most confusing client I've ever had. I mean, I don't, we had a great conversation today. It was so funny. Sometimes I feel like I'm a little bit of a counsellor for Dave, but then I think he's uncounselable. Do you know what I mean? And not in a bad way. I think he's very aware of his mind, but I want him to fight for the British title. I want him to fight Jamie TKV. I think it's a fantastic domestic fight. I would love to see Dave Allen win a British heavyweight title, and I think if he wins that, he can move on and fight in a big fight. I've spoken to Joseph Parker's team, George Warren, I've spoken to Shelley Finkel, and I think those fights can happen. But I truly believe he'll do a big crowd in Sheffield, and if he does a big crowd and has a good performance against a TKV and wins a British title, I think he can go on and get a major fight.
Other than the rebrand, for Matchroom Boxing as a whole, what's getting the juices flowing for you?
Getting the juices flowing is our events coming up in August, September, October and November. And they are, I hate giving, I'd like to think next week we'll be in a position to get announcing that schedule. Massive World Championship fights, outdoor events, stadium fights, all coming soon. And, we've obviously got a massive week next week with Taylor Serrano on the Friday night in New York, the Ring Magazine event, Shakur Stevenson against Cepeda on the Saturday. And then the week after, we've got a massive card in Texas with Jesse Bam Rodriguez, where we're going to have 11,000 there. So things are great, and very excited about tonight and the future.
Two more from me. I think you'll enjoy having a conversation about this one. I was sat on my sofa last week, and the phone rings. Love Island. I got asked to go on Love Island as a bombshell, Edward.
What, like Misfits?
How wrong is... No, genuine, that's what I'm saying. So I got it right.
One.
No, the real one.
And I got the one where everyone walks around ripped to shreds.
Yeah, I know.
And 6
so how
foot
could this 5'1" minus 400 chubby geezer from the Cotswolds, serious? Obviously I said no, yeah.
Why?
It would
Why
be quite funny
no?
for the crack.
Why did you say no?
Because I ain't going to clean up in there.
No, but you might.
No, I won't. Come on.
Not all of them have got great personality.
No, they're all chiselled fucking beast studs, in all fairness. I ain't.
But how funny would it be? Imagine and now we're going to welcome on, I don't know, Damien from Manchester. 8-pack. You're right, yeah, sweet, yeah. Now we're going to welcome on Johnny from London. And now we're going to welcome Parsons from Cirencester. All right, girls, you all right? Yeah. From Cirencester, and I'm massive, yeah. Like something like that,
Do you think
I think you'd do well?
Really?
Yeah, because if you just say you know me, and you'll be fine.
You think? Yeah, fair play.
I think you should do it.
Fair play.
I honestly think you should do it. What have you got to lose?
Oh,
you get paid,
I'm not doing
presumably.
Love Island, Edward. I'm not doing Love Island. That is self-deprecation at the highest of four. Also, it's not really me, mate.
Yeah.
Is it?
I mean, they could do like Love Island, The In-Betweeners, or something.
Ollie McBurney said Undateables.
Yeah.
It's a bit harsh. Lastly from me, I am going back to my secondary school tomorrow, which I'm really excited about.
Good. Did you not do well first time around?
No, to go and do an assembly.
Sorry, I thought you meant you're going to do
banter. To go and do an assembly to the year 10 kids.
Right.
They've got a big careers day and they've invited me back. I'm actually labelled as special guest at the minute, so maybe they've got
these
someone else.
interviews these days, are they just talking about you?
Well, actually, kind
and
of
your
yeah.
career.
Well, has that not always been the
I got
purpose?
approached to do this. I'm doing
how
this
I get
tomorrow.
clout.
I'm doing
I
this.
use you for
never
personal
used to do
clout.
that. You
Yeah, I did. I definitely did.
We never used to do interviews where you would say to me, "Oh, guess what? Someone asked me to do. Oh, I got a job off of this. Oh, I've had a proposal for this. Guess what I'm doing tomorrow?" Go on.
The point of the matter, I'm going to show a video to the kids, obviously about what I'm doing now and everything. Are you able to give them a message? They're year 10, going into GCSE year. What would Eddie Hearn tell them?
I'd say year 10 going into GCSE year. What's the school?
Kings Hill School, Cirencester.
Kings Hill School, Cirencester. The most important advice I can give you is whatever you do not listen to Parsons. It will be a complete waste of time. And I just really recommend that, especially the school, do not bring people like you in to give career advice to young people.
You've broke my heart.
I was actually thinking today, I think the best bit of advice is don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. And don't overthink. Let it flow. Do you know what I mean? Too many people now. And listen, I'm a believer in the visualization and meditation and writing down what I'm doing and I get it, but don't put too much pressure on yourself where it's like, I'm not achieving, I wrote this down, I did. Life's full of fuck-ups, right? But those fuck-ups, as you get older, like me, you just learn that all the fuck-ups along the way, or all the mistakes, the wins, the losses, they just give you the experience to cope with things better as life goes on. But at that age, your GCSEs, you have no idea where your life's going or what you're going to do. Great to have a passion for something, but don't put too much pressure on yourself. Do the best you can do every single day. Work your nuts off every single day. That's the only advice I can give you. And let it flow. Let it happen.
Edward, well done on the reband, and sorry to year 10 for the foul language.
See you later.